The President Trump has ordered the U.S. Mint to stop printing or minting the U.S. penny. This is a big change in our currency because obviously the penny or the 1 cent coin will now be removed from circulation. I'm Raymond Robertson, the director of the Mosbacher Institute for Trade, Economics, and Public Policy at the Bush School of Government and Public Service at Texas A&M University. The move to eliminate the penny has a number of benefits and costs for the economy. First of all, one of the main benefits is that the cost of producing the penny itself is about 3.9 cents or just about 4 cents, which means that for every penny that the United States government prints, we're actually losing money. So it's a net cost to the federal government. This is what President Trump wants to eliminate. He wants to implement cost savings to the government by eliminating the penny from circulation. Another big issue, of course, is that we rely less and less on cash as now we're moving to a cashless society. People use credit cards and debit cards and so on. So the penny is actually not being used as much because we've moved away from cash. So it doesn't make as much sense to keep the penny around if it's not really serving a function. On the other side, however, there are some costs to switching away from the penny. One of those is that there's many prices that are listed out there that are $1.99 or end with 99 cents. These prices will now be rounded up to the nearest dollar, which means that most customers will end up paying 1 penny more than they were before, which in effect raises prices for consumers. Prices are hardly ever rounded down. So that means people are probably going to end up paying more when they go to the store. Another interesting cost is that this increases the demand for the nickel, and the nickel actually costs a lot more to produce than the penny. It's almost 14 cents per nickel produced. So as we increase our reliance on nickels, because they're going to be the smallest unit, it actually is going to increase costs for the government. So it's really not clear how much cost savings the government will realize by eliminating the penny. Eliminating the penny is not going to be a first-time occurrence in the global economy. As a matter of fact, at the end of the 1980s and the early 1990s, Australia and New Zealand eliminated their smallest coin. Canada also did after the turn of the 21st century. So other countries have already taken steps to eliminate the penny, so this would not be the first time. However, one of the things that's important about eliminating the penny was the United States has not eliminated a coin in currency since the late 1800s, and back at that time, it took an act of Congress to do it. So this might be an example of the president testing the limits of presidential power relative to the Congress when he made this order. One of the big questions is whether or not this will work and generate net gains for the economy. Well, one thing is that it certainly will be more efficient in the sense that we won't have these smaller denomination coins in use anymore, and rounding off the prices to the nearest dollar does make accounting a little bit easier. So in that sense, it will be a lot easier for the U.S. economy. Are there going to be some costs? Well, yeah, we don't necessarily know what the net effect will be on government expenditures, but overall, this seems to be a pretty good move for simplifying our overall economic activities.